Qwen 3.7 Max just dropped, and the benchmarks say it almost matches Opus 4.6. But there's a catch: it depends entirely on what you actually need. Let's cut through the hype. Here is the map for this video. First, we start with same prompt setup. Then we move into Qwen 3.7. Then we compare DeepSeek v4. Then we test Claude Opus 4.6. Then we check Qwen 3.7. Then we stress test Kimi K2.6. Finally, we close on 4-weight. Qwen actually wins there too. The benchmark table looks incredible, but it hides one critical detail about what this model is actually. Alibaba dropped Qwen 3.7 recently, and then the numbers look impressive. On Terminal Bench 2, though Qwen 3.7 Max scores 69.7, that's ahead of DeepSeek v4 Pro Max at 67.9. And on SWI verified, it hits 80.4, practically tied with Opus 4.6 Max at 80.8. But here's the thing: the model is built for the agent era, not for general chat. The same blog post shows weaker gains on pure reasoning tests like Hall, where Opus 4.6 still leads 40 to 41.4, weight Qwen actually wins there to 41.4 vs 40. So what's the real story? It dominates agent benchmarks but holds its own on reasoning. The question is, does that match your workflow? Qwen 3. The agent frontier 226005 within a 25-minute 49992 words Qwen team Qwen translations to TNT Zhongwen Qwen 3.7 main image. Today we introduce Qwen 3.7 Max, our latest proprietary model designed for the agent era. Qwen 3.7 The Max is built to be a versatile agent foundation, equally capable of writing and debugging code, automating office workflows, and sustaining autonomous execution across hundreds or thousands of steps. Skills bench evaluated via open code on a 78 tasks, excluding 9 external API-dependent tasks. A week of 5 runs. MCP market GitHub MCP v30.3. Playwright responses truncated at 32k tokens. The biggest mistake you can make with Qwen 3.7 Max is treating it like a standard LOM because it's built. Qwen 3.7 Max isn't designed to replace your everyday chatbot. It's an agent backbone. Think long-running automated tasks, code refactoring across hundreds of files, data pipeline orchestration, autonomous kernel optimization. The blog demonstrates a 35-hour continuous run where the model wrote and optimized a GPU kernel from scratch on a never-before-seen hardware architecture. It made 158 tool calls and achieved a 10x speedup over the reference implementation. That's the kind of task Qwen dominates. Meanwhile, on general benchmarks like MMLU Pro, it hits 89, 6 solid, but barely ahead of the competition. So if you need a chat assistant for quick answers, Qwen 3.7 Max is overkill. If you need a reliable agent that doesn't lose context after 50 steps, it's a breakthrough. What sets Qwen 3.7 Max apart is the breadth and depth of its agent capabilities. It excels as a coding agent, from front-end prototyping to complex multi-file engineering. VitaBench average subdomain scores using Claude 4.5 Sonnet as judger, as the older official judgers are no longer available. Kernel Bench L30's AIM metrics reported median of per problem speedup over PyTorch eager reference or fraction of problems faster than Torch. Compile across 50 problems. The coding scores look amazing, but only if you're using AI the right way. Let's check where it actually. Let's talk coding. On Sweep Pro, Qwen 3.7 Max scores 60.6 higher than Opus 4.6, 57.3, and DeepSeek V4 Pro at 59.5. On Sweep Multilingual, it hits 78.3 again, leading Opus at 77.5. Code, a hard science coding benchmark, Qwen scores 53.5 vs Opus 51.9. And on Qwen SVG, a front-end code generation test, Qwen ties with Kimi K 2.6 at 1608, well ahead of Opus at 1325. So if you're building coding agents, automated pull request reviews, bug fixing pipelines, test generation Qwen 3, 7. The Max is arguably the best option right now. But notice something. These are agent benchmarks. The model uses tools, reads files, writes patches. It's not answering coding trivia. It's doing the actual work. It serves as a reliable office and productivity assistant through MCP integrations and multi-agent orchestration. It sustains coherent reasoning across extremely long horizons, as demonstrated by a 35-hour fully autonomous kernel optimization run comprising over 1,000 tool calls. The hype says it beats Opus everywhere. The actual data shows something more nuanced and more interesting. Is Qwen 3.7 Max perfect? No. And the hype makes it sound like it beats Opus everywhere. But look closer. On IFEVOL, instruction following benchmark, Qwen scores 94.3, tied with others, but Opus leads at 94.5. On MRCRV2, a long context recall test, Qwen dominates at 90.4 vs F, Opus 63.1. That's actually a huge win for Qwen. So where's the weakness? It's more about consistency. The models equal on hard reasoning GP, QA Diamond 92.4 vs Opus 91.3, HFMNTM at 97.1 vs 96.2, but on some creative and structured output tasks, it falls slightly behind. For example, on IFBench it scores 79.1 vs Opus 76.0 weight, Qwen leads there too. Honestly, looking at the full table, Qwen 3.7 Max is ahead or tied on nearly every row. The real catch isn't benchmark performance, it's that you must use it as an agent, not as a chat model. Use it with Claude Code, OpenClaw, or Qwen Code Framework. If you just call the API and expect magic, you'll miss 80% of its value. It generalizes across agent scaffolds, performing consistently whether deployed through Claude Code, OpenClaw, Qwen Code, or other frameworks. Qwen 3. 7. The Max available soon via Alibaba Cloud Model Studio, Frontier Coding Agent. From front-end prototyping to complex software engineering, office productivity, and workflow automation via MCP and multi-agent orchestration, sustained autonomous execution across long horizon. Tasks cross-scaffold generalization across diverse agent frameworks called API on Alibaba Cloud Model Studio. Coming soon. Quick aside, if you study from your own notes, try Memonic. It turns PDFs, slides, and recordings into summaries, mind maps, flashcards, quizzes, and exam practice. The free plan is enough to test the workflow. Link in description. Then we go back to the video. The community is split. Some say it's the best model ever. Others think it's overhyped. Here's what both. Reddit reactions are mixed. Some developers report incredible results with the agent workflow. One user mentioned it handled a multi-file refactor that Claude 4.6 kept getting wrong. Others tried using it like a standard chatbot and found it slower and sometimes less creative. The Medium article notes that Qwen 3.7 is still a preview release, so there's room for improvement. The hype is justified for agent use cases. The reality, checked if you're not running agents, the improvement over Qwen 3.6 is marginal. On general benchmarks, Qwen 3.6++ scored close on many tests. The real leap is in agent reliability, not raw intelligence. All experiments prepend a token at each turn, allowing the model to decide whether to engage extended thinking. C-Bench series, internal agent scaffold, bash plus file edit tools of Tempa 1.0, Todd up top, BP 0.95 to 200K context window. Enough analysis. Here's the simple decision rule. Based on what you actually do, I'll tell you exactly. Here's your decision tree. If you build coding agents, automation pipelines, or autonomous research workflows, switch now. Qwen 3.7 Max is the best agent model available. It's more reliable over long horizons, scores higher on almost every agent benchmark, and generalizes across different frameworks. If you use AI mainly for chart creative writing or quick Q&A wait. The model is good but not transformative for those tasks, plus it costs more via API than Qwen 3.6+, and the speed can be slower due to the long reasoning chains. If you do mixed workloads, start with Qwen 3.7 Max for the agent parts and keep your current model for chat. Use it where it wins. SUI Bench Pro problematic tasks corrected and all baselines evaluated on the refined benchmark. We disable bash commands that attempt to access the specific repository, such as pip download, pip install, and git clone. Of all the numbers in the benchmark table, this one changes my mind the most. Let me show you why. One benchmark stands above the rest: kernel bench L3, Qwen 3, 7derf. Max achieves a 96% win rate producing accelerated GPU kernels for 48 out of 50 problems. Opus 4.6 gets 98%, slightly better. But look at the rest. DeepSeek V4 Pro gets 54%. GLM 5.1 gets 78%. This benchmark tests real autonomous optimization, not just answering questions. The model wrote, compiled, profiled, and improved kernels without human intervention. If your work involves performance-critical code, this single number tells you more than all the general benchmarks combined. Qwen 3. 7derf Max can think like an engineer, not just a chatbot. Qwen WebDev, internal front-end code generation benchmark, bilingual N or CN, 7 categories. Auto-render plus multimodal judge, BT or ELO rating. Qwen Claw Bencher, a real user distribution Claw agent benchmark, open source, co-workbench, an internal co-work benchmark, long horizon tasks across computer science, finance, law, medical, and other productivity domains. Comment test if you want me to benchmark Qwen 3.7 Max is out and almost reach Opus 4.7 benchmark results. Should I switch? Understand hype vs reality against the model you use most. If this helped you decide, hit like and comment switchy if you're moving to Qwen, or wait if you're staying put. I read every reply, and the full benchmark comparison sheet is linked in the description.